we're going to be talking about today, in this documentary, we're going to be talking about the EMS world, mostly the system in Manchester. Manchester Fire is the main source of EMS and fire calls in Manchester. At least 65% of incidents in Manchester were EMS calls over the year. Manchester Fire responds nearly to 28,000 emergency calls during a year. Manchester firefighters are trained as EMTs and some ALS engines, which are AMTs. Manchester doesn't transport like other departments. They deal with on scene, and then AMR transports for them. AMR, Americans Medical Response. It's Manchester's main transport facility. They do 911. They have 6 911 buses. I have an interview from Heather, that is a AEMT at Manchester AMR.
My name is Heather Mason. Right now I'm an advanced EMT for AMR in Manchester. I have been a first responder for about 20 years, with 15 of those being in EMS. And I've done a little bit of everything. I've worked private EMS, obviously. I've worked fire-based EMS.
AMR has really helped my career by turning me into more of a well-rounded provider, teaching me how to think very quickly on my feet in a fast-paced environment. We run a lot of calls.
I started out as a volunteer, worked my way
very
up
dynamic
through the ranks
with all
to
of
a
that.
paid
And
position.
this is definitely the business system that I've worked in. The other kind of unexpected things that it's helped my career with is that I ended up on a FEMA deployment, and that opened up a lot of opportunities for me with AMR's incident management team, which has been great. And right now I'm pretty heavily focused on peer support, and that is an opportunity that I got strictly because of working at AMR. Thinking about the most critical failure in the EMS system is kind of a hard topic to kind of think about, but we used to have a city approval process. So you had to fill out a packet, you had to do road familiarization, there was a clinical component to it to make sure that you were competent with patient care, and the supervisors had to sign off that you were competent to work in the city, and then we sent it to the fire department. The fire department had to sign off on it as well. After COVID, we really struggled with staff and turnover, and so we had to lower our standards a little bit, and that process went away. And it has been noticeable. So thankfully, this is something that we're bringing back into the system right now. Actually, we'll have to get city approved again by the end of July. And I think having those standards set back in place will alleviate a lot of the issues that we've been having. I would say I look forward to going to work most days. I do currently work 3 jobs, and I am usually exhausted, but that's kind of the nature of the beast. But I am pretty proud to work in the city, and I do look forward to going to work every day. Getting connected with AMR wasn't anything earth-shattering or groundbreaking. I was living in New Hampshire but working in Massachusetts full time, and I just wanted to be closer to home, and I thought that I was ready for the experience of working in the city. I wanted to make sure that I had some pretty solid skills before I got into the city, because I knew that it was going to be a pretty fast-paced environment that was going to be very demanding. So once I was comfortable, which was about being in the industry for about 3 years, I applied to AMR and I got in. I think just because of my experience with training and staff development and program management and development, I'm always looking at different ways to improve things. But I think one of the biggest ways that we can improve the EMS system in Manchester would be to do better trainings with PD and fire. Right now, we don't do any trainings at all with PD. We have the opportunities on occasion to do joint trainings with the fire department. We just aren't usually given enough time, so it's not, or enough notice, sorry. And it's not mandatory, but I think if we were able to get some mandatory trainings on the books, we would work together better as a system and be able to identify some of the weaknesses that we could improve upon.